The Galactic Sentence. The chamber of the Galactic Council was larger than mountains, built with shining crystal walls and glowing pillars that stretched beyond sight. In that hall, voices of hundreds of alien races echoed like thunder. Each one was shouting, pointing, and accusing. At the very center stood a single figure, a representative of Earth. The human wore a plain dark suit, nothing grand compared to the jeweled robes of alien rulers. Yet his calm eyes watched every alien with steady fire. He was not afraid, he was not broken. He was only waiting. The Speaker of the Council raised his long silver claws and brought silence. His voice rang out cold and final. Humanity, you are charged with being too violent, too unpredictable, too dangerous to the balance of the galaxy. You come from a death world, a cursed planet that breeds monsters and madness. You spread like fire, and fire must be contained. The human said nothing. His hands stayed folded, his face was calm, but in the silence, every alien felt the weight of human eyes. One by one, alien leaders stood to speak. You are Deathworlders, you cannot be trusted, growled the scaled Vorthan. You fight every war as if it is the end of the universe, hissed the feathered Serani. You are not a race of peace, you are a race of war, shouted the tall crystalline Mary. Their voices mixed, hatred and fear twisting together. The council speaker lifted his claws once more. By the decree of the Galactic Council, humanity is hereby banished. You will no longer hold a seat in this chamber. You will not share in our trade, our treaties, or our alliances. You are exiled from every star system under council law. The chamber erupted in cheers. Mocking laughter rolled like waves. To the aliens, it was a victory. They had cast out the one race they feared most, but the human did not shout. He did not argue, he did not beg, he simply rose to his feet. His chair scraped against the shining floor, and the sound echoed louder than the laughter. He spoke only one sentence, quiet but sharp. You will regret this. The words cut through the air like a blade. The council silenced for a heartbeat. Then they laughed louder. What can the humans do without trade? Mocked one. They will starve on their dying world, sneered another. They are nothing without us, spat a third. But deep inside, some aliens shifted uneasily. They remembered the old wars. They remembered the human fleets that fought even when outnumbered 10-1. They remembered the stubborn fire of Earth. The human walked out of the chamber with slow, steady steps. He did not look back. The guards watched him go, whispering among themselves. One said, "Why does he look so calm?" Another muttered, "I do not trust that silence." Far away, on the blue planet Earth, the message reached billions. Screens across cities and colonies flickered with the council's decree. Words of banishment echoed, yet instead of despair, silence filled the streets, a heavy silence, like a storm waiting to break. Mothers held their children close. Soldiers clenched their fists. Engineers stared at the stars with burning eyes. Humanity had been insulted, cast away like dirt. But every heart beat with the same rhythm. We will not kneel. Meanwhile, the council celebrated. Alien leaders drank glittering wines and sang songs of victory. They thought they had ended the human problem forever. They thought humanity would fade into the dust of forgotten history. But in secret, deep in the shadows of asteroid belts and hidden bases, something stirred. Human fleets returned home quietly. Shipyards closed their gates, communication lines went silent. The galaxy thought humanity was broken, but silence is dangerous. The Galactic Council had given their sentence. They had cast humanity into exile. But in doing so, they had planted a seed of fire, a seed of iron, a seed of vengeance. The last words of the human representative echoed across the council chamber long after he was gone. You will regret this. And somewhere, in the endless void, humans began to build. Not just weapons, not just ships, they began to forge something greater. Something the galaxy had never seen before. The council believed the sentence was the end. But for humanity, it was only the beginning. The silent departure. The stars grew quiet. Humanity did not answer the banishment with anger or speeches. Instead, they withdrew, one system after another, one by one. Terran colonies shut down their embassies, their trade hubs, their gates to alien worlds. The galaxy cheered. Aliens filled their news feeds with triumphant messages. The Deathworlders are finished, their voice is gone. Their power is ended. Yet deep inside, some began to whisper. Why was humanity so silent? In the past, when cornered, humans always fought, they clawed, they burned. They roared like beasts, but this time they simply vanished. No great wars, no bloodshed, no desperate pleas. Just silence, cold, endless silence. Alien merchants who once saw human traders now found empty docks. The famous Terran markets on Council worlds closed their gates. Their stalls abandoned, their signs dim. "They left overnight," muttered one alien staring at an empty port. No goodbye, no warning. Meanwhile, rumors began to spread. Small empires on the galactic rim reported strange sightings. Entire fleets of human freighters moving in convoys, vanishing into hidden routes. Shipyards and dead systems suddenly went dark, their signals cut off. And then there were the shadows. Alien scouts who followed human convoys often never returned. Their last transmissions always the same, static, and then silence. The Council dismissed these whispers. "Paranoia," they declared. "Humans have no strength left. They are scattered and broken." Yet unease grew among those who remembered Earth's wars. They knew silence was never weakness, it was preparation. Far away, deep within a black nebula, humanity worked. Engineers labored inside colossal shipyards hidden from alien eyes. Titans of steel rose in the dark, not ordinary ships, but something greater, something the galaxy had no name for. Leaders gathered in secret chambers on Earth. The old governments dissolved, replaced by a single united command. Humanity was no longer a collection of nations, it had become one, forged by exile. Their council was not of politicians, but of builders, warriors, visionaries. "Let the aliens celebrate," one leader whispered. "Every laugh they give us is a day more we have to build." "We are not banished," another said. "We are free for the first time. No council law binds us." The people understood. Silence was not surrender. It was the calm before the storm. They mined forgotten worlds, they bent asteroids into forges. They stripped ancient wrecks for knowledge. Nothing was wasted, every hand worked. Every mind burned with the same thought. The throne alien spies caught fragments of this word. They reported back with trembling voices. "They are building something." "They call it a throne," the council laughed. "A throne? Humans believe they are kings now? Fools." But behind closed doors, some rulers felt the ice of fear. For in the silence of the humans, there was a shadow moving across the stars. Something that could not be measured by trade routes or treaties. Something greater than power, it was resolve. Entire generations of humans were now raised with one truth. They cast us out. They thought we would beg. But we will build higher than they can dream. Ships disappeared into the void. Cities dug deeper underground, armies trained in silence. Humanity's departure was not retreat. It was the birth of something new. One alien scout, before vanishing, managed to send a final image. A glimpse of a structure larger than moons, glowing in the void with human fire. The transmission cut out before details could be sent. But those who saw it whispered. It was not a ship, it was not a station. It was a throne. And as the galaxy slept in false victory, the silence of humanity grew heavier. It was no longer the silence of defeat. It was the silence of the forge, the silence of steel being born. The Galactic Council thought they had ended humanity, but in truth they had freed them. They had given them reason to rise higher than ever before. In the silence, a storm was waiting, and soon, the galaxy would learn the price of banishment. The throne forged in the void between stars, far beyond the watch of the Council. The forges of humanity burned, not with fire, but with plasma furnaces that split asteroids and turned them into rivers of steel. Hidden shipyards stretched across dead moons. Connected by tunnels of light, every hammer strike, every burst of welding sparks echoed a single vow. Never again will we kneel. Generations worked in silence. Entire families lived and died within those hidden factories. Children grew up not under alien stars, but under the glow of molten metal. They learned their first words while watching their parents weld armor plates thicker than any dreadnought carried. Every human soldier or farmer, engineer or miner gave their blood to one purpose, the throne. This throne was not carved from jewels or gold. It was not a palace to sit upon. It was a world-sized fortress, an artificial planet forged from the remains of shattered moons. It carried fleets within its hollow heart. Entire armadas hidden inside like a beast with steel fangs. Its surface was covered in cannons that could tear suns apart. Its core pulsed with reactors that sang like thunder. But the most terrifying part was not its weapons, it was its unity. Every human banner, every scattered nation, had been welded together into one. No council law, no alien decree, no rival empire. Only humanity as one will. And that will had built something the galaxy could never imagine. Whispers of the throne spread. A smuggler saw the shadow of a colossus drifting in a nebula. A mercenary described a city of fire moving between stars. But whenever scouts came too close, their ships vanished into static. The council dismissed it as rumor, but fear began to creep into the halls. One merry spy returned broken, trembling. His crystalline skin cracked from fear. "They are not rebuilding fleets," he whispered. "They are forging gods." But the council silenced him. "Delusions," they declared. "Humans are desperate." Nothing more. Still in private, leaders locked their doors tighter, for they remembered the silence. And they feared what grew inside it on Earth. The last stone of the throne was laid, not with celebration, but with solemn silence. It was not a monument, it was a promise. The exiled had risen, and now they sat upon their own seat of power, one that did not beg entry into the Galactic Council, but towered above it. The first great fleet launched from the throne. Sleek warships with black hulls and crimson insignias, they moved like shadows, silent but unstoppable. Every ship was named not for kings or heroes, but for words the council hated most: defiance, memory, freedom, fire, regret. From the command deck of the throne, a human voice carried across secure channels. They banished us, they laughed at us. They thought our silence was surrender. The fleet captains answered in unison. Our silence was the forge, our silence was the hammer, our silence was the throne. And when their engines lit, the stars themselves seemed to tremble. The galaxy did not yet know, but in hidden skies, humanity had already crowned itself with power. The Banished no longer sought a seat in the council. They had built something higher, a throne not of gold but of fire and iron, and soon, when the silence broke, the galaxy would learn what it meant to cast Deathworlders aside. For now, the throne was forged, and its shadow stretched across every star. The return of the Banished. The Galactic Council chamber glittered with gold and crystal, towering arches shining with alien pride. It was the anniversary of humanity's exile. A grand feast was held. Banners of 100 empires swayed under the dome of light. The council speaker raised his voice, his claws lifted high. Today marks 100 cycles since the Deathworlders were cast out. The galaxy stands united, free from their chaos, applause roared. Goblets clashed, alien dignitaries laughed. They sang songs of victory. To them, humanity was already dust, a forgotten page of history. But then, the ground trembled. A deep vibration rolled through the crystal floor. At first, they thought it was an earthquake. Then the stars beyond the chamber windows darkened. "Shields, engage the shields," cried a guard. But the darkness was not natural. It was metal. It was ships. Colossal warships, black as midnight, appeared outside the council's homeworld. One, then 10, then 100, and then entire fleets filled the skies. Every vessel bore a crimson insignia, an iron crown forged of fire, the mark of the throne. Panic erupted. Dignitaries scrambled, their robes tangling as they fled. The council chamber rang with shouts. "Impossible! How did they reach our core system? Where are our fleets? Where is the defense line?" But no defense remained. Humanity had cut through them before the alarm even sounded. The chamber's great holoscreen flickered alive. The image of a single human appeared, not robed, not jeweled, but clad in dark steel. His voice carried not in shouts, but in calm iron. "You banished us, you mocked us, you thought our silence was surrender." Behind him, the throne world glowed, its surface alive with fire. "We were not broken, we were building, and now, our silence ends." The chamber fell into stunned silence. Even the speaker's silver claws trembled. The human continued. "You claimed we were too dangerous to sit among you. You were right, we do not seek your seats. We forged our own throne." At that moment, the sky above the council world burned. Human warships fired not on cities, not on civilians, but on the council's defensive fleet. In a single wave, alien warships shattered like glass, their debris raining into the atmosphere. The crowd in the chamber fell to their knees as the light of destruction glared through the windows. Some alien rulers wept, others whispered in fear. "They did this in silence," muttered one. "If this is what they forged unseen, what else waits in the dark?" asked another. The council speaker tried to rise, his voice shaking. You cannot rule. The galaxy will never bow to Deathworlders." The human's eyes narrowed. Calm and unshaken. "We do not ask you to bow. We ask you to remember. You banished us, and from exile, we built power you cannot comprehend. The galaxy is no longer yours to command. Then the human said a final phrase that would echo through history. The banished have returned not as beggars, but as kings. The transmission cut, and outside, the throne world itself moved into orbit. A fortress world surrounded by fleets. Its shadow fell over the council planet like an eclipse. Every alien who looked up knew the truth. Banishment had not destroyed humanity. It had created something greater. The galaxy had laughed at silence. But now silence had come back with fire, and in that moment, the Galactic Council realized the mistake that would haunt them forever. The new order, the council world, lay under shadow. Its skies, once filled with banners of 100 alien empires, now drowned beneath the iron crown of the throne. Smoke rose where fleets had burned. Wreckage drifted across orbit like silent tombstones. The galaxy watched in terror as every broadcast was seized. Every star system saw the same image. The throne world glowing in orbit. Fleets lined like a wall of fire. Across the stars, voices whispered. They were banished. They were forgotten. But they returned. In the chamber of the council, silence held. The proud rulers who once mocked humanity now sat pale, trembling. Their jeweled crowns clattered to the floor. The speaker, his voice once thunderous, now broke into a whisper. What do you want from us? The human envoy appeared again, standing tall, unarmed, his voice calm but merciless. What we want cannot be given, it has already been taken. You thought exile was punishment, but it was freedom. You cut us away from your chains. And in that silence we forged our throne. The alien rulers dared not meet his gaze. They remembered their laughter when humanity walked out in silence, and now, that silence stood before them with fleets that could unmake worlds. The envoy's words rolled like thunder. From this day forward, the council's decrees mean nothing. No law binds humanity. No throne commands us, for we have built our own higher than yours. The chamber erupted in panic. Some rulers shouted, others begged, please, do not destroy us. We will share our fleets, our wealth. But humanity was no longer begging for a seat. They had taken the sky itself. Across the galaxy, oppressed worlds rose in rebellion. Inspired by the throne, slaves shattered chains. Small colonies declared independence. Every spark of defiance now had a fire behind it, the fire of Earth. Wherever the crimson insignia of the throne appeared, alien despots bent their knees or watched their fleets burn. One by one, old empires surrendered. Their banners lowered, replaced with the iron crown of fire. It was not conquest through blood alone, it was terror, awe, and inevitability. The galaxy had mocked Deathworlders, but now they whispered a new truth. Better to kneel to humanity than to defy them. And in the council chamber, the speaker finally fell to his knees, his silver claws scraping the floor. We acknowledge the throne, he whispered, his voice trembling. The human envoy turned, his face unreadable, his voice calm as steel. Not acknowledge. Remember. The broadcast ended, and the image of the throne world burned into every star system. It was no longer a rumor, no longer a shadow in silence. It was the new center of power. The banished had returned. But not as wanderers or beggars, they had returned as rulers from that day. The galaxy was no longer the same. The council was a ghost, its laws broken, its voice silenced. Every race now looked to one place, one power, one throne, humanity's throne of fire. And in whispers in every corner of the galaxy, the story spread. They tried to banish the Deathworlders, but all they did was give them the galaxy.